First, we have creator and executive producer Glen Mazaara. Bradley James, who stars as Damien Thorn. And Barbara Hershey, who stars as Ann Rutledge. All right. Hello, guys. Thanks for being here. All right, Glenn, first question I have to ask. So, you have created a show that you see it as a direct sequel to the original film.
Yes, that's right.
So, how many versions or ideas did you have as to where you could take this character without basically relying on the other two sequels?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, when I was originally approached by Fox to develop this character, it was originally the idea of one of our executive producers, Ross Feynman, and you know, he said, well, how about a show based on The Omen? I said, great. I love the first movie, but the second and third movie kind of pushed Damien along this particular, you know, character arc. And I love that kid, that scary kid, and I want to know what happened to him maybe 25 years later. And one of the ways that I wanted to approach it, and Fox bought into it, was, you know, when we meet Damien, he's 30. And the reason we're doing that is because he's, you know, Christ started his journey when he was 30. So this is an Antichrist, and we're sort of taking that Jesus story and flipping it on its head, which I'm sure is going to piss some people off. But it was kind of a very different way to go, and that's where we started from.
And what has this guy been up to since we saw him knocking his mother off the balcony?
He's been up to a lot of trouble. He's been up to, you know, we're going to learn that. I think he's been living a very interesting life. And we're going to meet him, you know, when he's 30. We're going to understand what he's been up to. But he has to, as certain events happen in season 1, he has to go back and revisit things and say, oh, that's what that was about. That's what that meant. So I think fans are going to be excited to not only follow his story, but also go back and be able to fill in where he's been those past 25 years.
And you're clearly, I mean, from the clip, we're seeing scenes from the original film. So are we acknowledging like that Lee Remick was his adopted mother and all that?
Yeah, we're using that mythology. I mean, I'm a huge fan of that original film. And, you know, it's a great starting point. It's a classic film. And so we're being very respectful to it. And all of the characters and events that happen in that film are things that are still having repercussions throughout our show.
Okay. And this was originally planned to be on Lifetime.
Yes.
Now it's on A&E, which makes so much more sense. Why the switch?
You know what? I'll say, I'll give it to Lifetime because they, you know, read the script. It was kind of a crazy script, and they loved it. And, you know, there was an executive there, Nina Liederman, who really kind of said, this is something I want on this network. And then I guess that for different corporate reasons, they felt, you know, it would be a great match with Bates Motel, and would be a better fit on A&E. But I'm happy to say that there's been no creative shift. Nina and the other executives are still involved with the show, and they've been incredibly supportive of the story we're setting out to tell. So that's been, you know, when we switched, it wasn't like we had to retool the show or whatever. People are just saying, this is the show these guys are making, and A&E is a better place for it.
Okay, so when we first met Damien, he was obviously a little devil.
Mm-hmm. He still is.
But it seems like from the clip and from what we've talked about is that he's actually a nice guy.
Wow, that's... you want to take that?
How to start? Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. I would say that we all, in some capacity, hold the ability to be a nice guy or girl. And yeah, Damien is one of us. And so you see that element to his character, but equally, as we all do, we have the ability to not be so nice. I wouldn't say it's as, I think you're touching on something that is, the character isn't black and white, it's various shades of interesting grey.
Yeah, the character has a lot of humanity, and what's been great about the way Bradley's playing him is we see all these different layers. And you know, if it was just, you know, one thing and not another, I didn't think we would have a long life. And hopefully this is something that people fall in love with these characters. They come back season after season, but we have a long story to tell. And to do that, we needed a really complex character. And Bradley's done a great job of bringing that character to life.
And this is a character who, as opposed to the sequel Damiens, is not truly aware of who he is.
No, he's putting it together, and no matter. And what's been fun about the show is no matter what he does, things just get worse. So it's been a lot of fun to write. I'm really enjoying this one. So
Okay. And casting the son of the devil cannot be easy. It's probably fun as hell, no pun intended. But so what was it about Bradley when he came in to just say like, oh yes, he's the son of a jackal?
That's exactly
what we're looking for.
That's exactly what we said. We saw 666 actors. And a lot of them were very talented, but only Bradley James came in and that was the guy. As soon as we saw it, we were like, that's the guy.
Bradley, what was your audition like?
I did a tape originally. I was busy in Vancouver and I couldn't get away for a bit.
You were doing Eyes On.
I was doing Eyes On. And I just managed to sort of piece this tape together and send it off the back of the enthusiasm I had for this script. And then, I just sort of found myself, I had like one day off where they were able to get me and these two other guys, one who I play football with.
No, football or soccer?
Football. Soccer if you're... I won't finish that sentence. And I met sort of, you know, all the faces behind this great script and saw... Passion's a very generic word, but it sort of summed it up. There was just such a clear, you know, thought process from these people of what the story they wanted to tell, and it just got me incredibly excited about the whole thing, and very pleased when I was told I would be doing it.
It's very different from playing like King Arthur. A little, you know. How has it been like developing this character with Glen and finding those shades of humanity versus monstrous inhumanity?
Versus
monstrous inhumanity.
Inhumanity.
I mean, he is the son of the devil.
He is. I feel like already he's severely misunderstood. There's people cheering for him in the next room. It's a good sign. Few devil worshippers in there. I think it's. I guess I just speak from behalf of an actor's viewpoint. There, you're approaching a character as you would any other, and you find out as much as you can about him. You find out about his desires. You find out about his problems. You find out what he tries to do to solve those problems, and you create the character. And working with Glen, it's a collaboration. You have extreme freedom to come up with ideas and present them and work on them together, and that is a rare, beautiful, wonderful situation to be in as an actor.
Where does the 666 birthmark go?
Where does it go?
Because it's cable.
It stays the same. It's for those of you who've seen the film. It's on the back of Damien's head when he was 5 years old. It's probably not moved too far away.
All right, so Barbara, this was right. Let's give it up. So from what what we're seeing, and it was only a brief sizzle reel, but it seems like your character is not a great influence on this young man.
Well, yeah, I not yet. She's trying. She's been an influence without him knowing it. She's been there all along, and she's been in the shadows, guiding the situation and protecting him from all of these elements that want to destroy him or absorb him or make him theirs. And there are a lot of forces in play that she's protecting him from as well as she can.
Mm-hmm. And without spoiling anything, is this woman connected to anyone from the original film? Like, are we going to find out she was at the birthday party when the nanny went a little crazy?
She's been in the shadows all along.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you played Mary Magdalene, and now you are playing someone who Mary Magdalene probably would not get along with. How is it being on the other side of the battle versus good and evil?
Well, it's interesting because one of the things I love about Glen's writing and the writers and the whole concept about the series is it's provocative. There are a lot of ideas in it that are really interesting. And so I don't know if she would kind of characterize herself that way. There are a lot of things going on, not all of them bad, which makes her more powerful in a way, because she's a whole being.
And she is a human, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I asked, that was my first question to Glen.
These are questions you sometimes have to ask.
Yes.
And Glen told me that something that when he works with actors, there is a relationship where you guys are collaborative, that it's a very important situation. How is that for you guys, working with the creator of the show on these things? Like, was that an appeal to you to do the show?
Oh yeah, he's tremendous to work with, and it's like throwing a creative ball back and forth. It's really stimulating and gets your juices flowing, and it's complimentary and wonderful.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
very intrigued to. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was about to say I was very intrigued to meet the mind behind the script that I read initially, because I thought this guy's going to be, straitjacket or something like that. And he was when I first met him.
So, without spoiling anything, because I love that she has a King Bradley sign over there. That when you guys first read this script, how scared were you of this?
I was reading it from the point of view of Damien. So I guess I'm not so much scared for him, but excited for him. That's, again, showing my warped mind when you see the first episode. I think I sort of felt like embracing him as opposed to being scared of him. I think, you see the situation he's in, you just think, poor guy.
He's right, because same thing for me, because I thought, first of all, I thought people will identify with Damien because he's blacked out who he really is. That's how he survived all this time. And to be faced with the idea of being the Antichrist, it's like if you guys found out you were the Antichrist. What would you do? And it's so intriguing.
Get an Apple Watch.
Straight away, no thought about it, just went, I'll take over the world. Destroy you all. There you go. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, there must be a process of acknowledgement, acceptance when he's presented with this information, correct? It's not just like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, Damien in this is a war photographer.
Yes.
And we talked about this earlier. There's a photography kind of theme in the original film that you're working with as well, correct?
Yeah, if you watch the original film, there's a photographer, the character of Jennings, and and I'm probably wrong about this, but I think, at least as far as I can remember, you know, he takes pictures. He takes a picture of a priest at the birthday party, and then later you see the priest gets killed. Steeple falls through him, or falls off a church, and when he develops the picture, he sees a black line. And I think that's one of the earliest examples of, you know, photography and supernatural colliding in a movie. It had probably been done before that, but that was the first time I had seen that. So I started thinking about, oh, there's something in this character, in this world's DNA, and the fact that, you know, if Damien is supposed to bring about an apocalypse, a war, let's say, so there's something about that, and it was just, and his approach and what he's been doing as a war photographer, I think, shows part of the humanity, shows where he's been, and it's something that we take very seriously, and that we've been able to develop his character through that. So it was a seed that, when I was thinking about what I love about that original movie, it was something that then, as I kind of pulled into the script, it sort of kind of really fought for a lot of space. So it was fun to use that.
All right, Scott. Welcome.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
All right, Scott, who is this guy? What are you doing here?
I just feel lucky to be here, to be working with these talented actors, with Glen again and his wonderful writing, and his wonderful writing team. So it's been exciting. Read the first script and I said, yeah, this is really good. So I'm looking forward to it.
Can you tell us anything about the character?
Well, he has known Damien's parents. He has known Ann Rutledge for a long time. He's kind of walks the corridors of power. He's the power broker. I think you won't know for a while who he is, and then you'll say, who is this guy? But it'll be fun, I think, for the audience, because the characters reveal themselves in interesting ways. It's interesting, isn't it, the situation that the world is in now. I think this is the perfect time for this show, because you look around the world and you see bad things happening. And this show will be talking about dealing with people and issues that raise those questions that I think all of us are asking.
And is he a human? Is he also human?
Is he human? Yeah.
I don't know, when you're dealing with shows about the son of the devil, I'm just like, who's what, you know? Who's gonna have cloven hooves? It is very strange to see you without a ponytail. What happened to Herschel's ponytail?
Well, I was talking to Glen, and he was telling me about the role of John Lyons, and I said, Glen, I still have a ponytail. He said, it has to go. So I cut it off, and I'm going to auction the ponytail and donate the proceeds to the Actors Fund. So all of you can bid on it, and even if you don't bid on it, you can make a contribution to the Actors Fund. It doesn't have to be much. It could be $5, $10, $15, $20, $20,000. Like a prosperous group. But whatever, whatever you can do, check it out. I'm not exactly sure when it will go on auction. You think that's a good idea or not?
You also have someone else who's coming onto the show playing the Vatican Embassy, correct?
Oh yeah, we have a terrific actor named Robin Weigart, who played Calamity Jane on Deadwood, and I've worked with her before. She's a brilliant actress, and she's coming in as someone sent from the Vatican to investigate strange happenings in the world of Damien. So we're excited to announce that she's joining the show as well.
Okay, so what we're picking up here is that this guy is going along, war photographer, bad stuff's happening around him, and then does it reach like a fever pitch, or does somebody finally say like, yo dude, you are jinxed?
Yeah, it's all of that, yeah.
And horror is huge on TV today, obviously, but it's not always successful. It's very hard to keep the horror concept and the scares going on a week-to-week basis. How do you plan to actually keep that tension and those chills delivering every week?
Well, that's a really fun challenge. You know, what was so exciting about the original film is it feels like it takes place in our world. You know, it's not very special effects heavy. You know, it feels somewhat plausible. It just feels like there's a tremendous amount of bad luck in this world, but it feels grounded and it feels real. So, you know, the writers and I have worked really hard to kind of make sure that, you know, we have these interesting, fun horror sequences, but that feel plausible, you know, so we're always trying to work within the rules of that original film. And it's been tricky, but when you get it right, and hopefully we do, it comes together and it's been fun. And so that way, as long as we keep things grounded and really invest in our characters, because, you know, we all watch TV because of the characters that we love. And so if we really care about Damien and the people in his world, I think people will go along for the ride. So, you know, that's really what we've been focusing on.
That might be the greatest challenge a writer could have, is making this character sympathetic. Like when he was 5, it was one thing. But now he's like this hot jacked dude who's, you know, like, how do you not hate that guy? But, you know, like, how are you planning to do that? How am I going to turn on the show and be like, I feel bad for this guy. He's the devil, but I feel bad for him. He's got daddy issues.
Yeah, he's got daddy issues. He's probably James. He's gorgeous. You know, so it's not that hard to do. But you know, hey, it's my friend the Antichrist. So
your friendly neighborhood Antichrist.
It's a wacky neighbor.
Right. So you're setting it in New York.
Yes.
And filming in Toronto. Why set it on the East Coast? Why in the Metropolis? The original was London, correct?
Yeah, and I think Damien's been based out of New York, you know, as you know, a lot of photographers may be. And, you know, there is a world element, so we'll see him, you know, out in the world, and I think have, you know, really trying to make sure, I mean, part of the reason of that, say the Vatican is investigating, you know, the Antichrist would be a world problem, and that's something really important, part of the fact that he's a war photographer. We really want the show to have scope, so it's not just, you know, the parking meter's not working or something really small. It's got to be a world stage problem.
It's like genocide.
Yeah.
Oh, Damien was here. Yeah. And the tone, you're obviously keeping it grounded, but the original film had such like a kind of like a Baroque, almost like this operatic feel. Like everything was very heightened. Is that something you're going for as well?
Yeah, that's important. I mean, we certainly want that, and a lot of that has to do with the music. You know, I mean, it's such an incredible score by Jerry Goldsmith, and you know, I had a lot of conversations with Bear about that. And so, you know, music is a huge element. It creates so much and just gives you that feeling of you know, impending horror. So we've really, you know, we've been able to get great directors in, and the cast is doing a great job. So you know, I really hope that people find the show scary, thrilling. Hopefully it'll make you uncomfortable. That's what I always go for. So I'm proud of it.
Did you guys do like a group screening of the original film? Have you seen the original film? What did you think?
It's a very good film. I'd seen it originally when it was far too young to understand
Okay.
what's going on. When I watched it relatively recently, I'm still probably too young to understand it. So it made a bit more sense.
Does it fill in some of his backstory for you?
I think because we leave Damien there when he's 5 years old, and I dare say that everyone in this room is a much different person to when they were 5 years of age.
Have you seen some of the costumes?
That's a very good point. That's a very valid point. And so, with that 25-year gap, you have blank canvas to create the character. So, the foundations are there for the story, but maybe not necessarily for Damien and how he operates.
Are we going to get to see like doctor pictures of Bradley when he was younger, wearing like the little, the shorts and the jacket and the hat?
Well, that's a good idea. Maybe
Yeah,
I'll
I think, yeah. That's going to end up in fan fiction in about an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. Barbara, you actually did, you were doing horror movies at the time. You did The Entity right around. That's correct?
Those are on pretty bad with chronology, but yeah.
It was around that same era, and that movie was messed up. So scary.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. How do you feel horror has changed since then?
Well, that film, like The Omen, was character-oriented. I think the thought was that if you care about characters, then you care about what happens to them, so therefore it's more scary. And so I think they relate in that way, which this show does too.
That movie, though. I mean, God, if you guys have not seen The Entity, rent it, download it, whatever, watch it during the day with people. And Scott, you've been doing horror for a while now. You've gone from the frying pan to the devil's kitchen.
Yeah, it keeps getting hotter, doesn't it?
Yeah. How is the different? How's the gauge here?
It's fun. I mean, when you look at a script, you want to be careful. You want to be what the overall script is about. And do you get a chance to explore the character? And that's what you have here. That's as an actor, that's what you're looking for. So it happens to be based on something that's well known as a fan base, which is what's like a good show. So I'm very curious to see what happens and to see if I lose any limbs. Players likes to take legs off.
Have you talked to or heard from Richard Donner?
No, I have not.
He directed the original. Sometimes people get a little possessive. Like, what are you doing in my movie?
I believe some of our producers have reached out and been more supportive of this. They've gone back to this story. I mean, it is an iconic character in a story, and they've gone back and obviously done the original sequels, and they've tried to pick it up. But people are supportive of us doing this.
And we talked earlier about, in addition to Bear's music, your director for the pilot. What he brought to it.
Yeah, Shaker Kapoor is just a world-class director. He directed King Blanchett and Elizabeth, and he's just a really phenomenal director and has become a good friend. And, I met him, and it was just a regular meeting, just agent set it up. He came in, and he had read the script, and he said, I love the script, I'd like to direct it. I said, really? Well, you're a real director, and I couldn't imagine he wanted to direct one of my scripts. And so I said, okay, and it was just a great honor. And we started talking about it, and the way he moves the camera in Elizabeth, where Elizabeth is always part of a conspiracy, and the camera snakes around her, and she always has there's always these odd angles that you never know who's watching her. That was something he brought to this. So not only did we look at the original film, but there was something already in his work and the way that he was using the filmmaking to create tension, but also to establish the character. It was really just something I had not experienced before. I mean, it was just really just a joy to work with. We were lucky to have it.
Whenever the subject of the paranormal, the supernatural, anything like that comes up, film and TV actors, they always have some kind of like ghost story from production. You guys, did anything weird happen while you were filming? Has anything happened yet?
Yeah, and I mean, okay, well, so we've got this scene. I don't want to give it away. It's not a big scene, but we have a scene that involves a bird. Okay. So, and what happened was a bird was in my house and crashed into the window. Now, how a bird got in my house, I don't know. Okay. And then I picked the bird up, and the bird died in my hands. An hour later, there was a different bird, another bird, that was also in the house that was dead. So someone's leaving dead birds in my house. So then we had a director who was jogging, who was attacked by a bird. There was someone else who found a dead bird in their yard. And there have been about 10 to 12 instances of people and crew members working on Damien, in which have over 2 months, there's been all these dead birds in our lives. So that's 1 or 2 is weird, 3, 4. Then after a while, like, who's attacking us with dead birds? And it's just really been weird. And this has been both in LA and Toronto, and everybody's got a bird story.
Birds.
Yeah.
I didn't even know LA had birds.
Yeah, well, there were only 2 and they're gone. They were in my house.
What about you guys? Any creepy tales from the set?
No, touch wood. I mean, nothing to drive on a bird story like that.
No. Give it time. Anything that you have from the scripts, anything that you've read where it's just chilled you?
There's so much that I've read. The thing that always knocks me out about Glen's writing and his guidance of the writers is how astounded I am all the time, how surprised I am at every turn. I don't think this is whatever you think the Omen is or the Antichrist is. This is surprisingly so much more. I read script not knowing what's coming. I was reading one last night and I'm just pure audience, as I'm reading it because I'm that surprised. And that's really rare.
And this is something, it's a hot button issue. I mean, outside we've got protesters with their yellow signs. I'm like, that's weird cosplay, whatever. Any concern with upsetting the religious right, the Christians, anybody? Everybody?
No, not really. I'm sure those people watch TV. I hope they watch too. But I mean, I was raised Catholic. I have an uncle who's a priest. So we're really kind of examining stuff that's in the Bible. We're examining a lot. But it is an entertainment too. It's a horror show. So and it's drawn from an iconic film. So I'm interested to see what people have to say because we don't want to take it seriously.
And it depends on, relies on the reversal, of certain sacred designs, elements, like, icons, things like that, can be seen as profane and all that stuff. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I mean, that's what I do. So, I think good horror has to be profane, to be honest. It has to be sort of shocking, not gratuitous or shocking for, shock value, but it's there to elicit a strong visceral emotional response. So, I think in my career I've always been interested in sort of, telling stories that make people uncomfortable, that push the envelope. And certainly, if I'm going to work on a show about the Antichrist, there's just a lot there to mine. So it's not for everybody, but it definitely has a strong point of view. I'll say that.
And how weird is it to be working on something for all of you, actually, Barbara, you'd be used to this, doing a project where the source material is the Bible. You're going to, because you're obviously relying on things that are in the Bible from the book of Revelation and all that, correct? So, and Barbara, you've already done.
Been there, done
Yeah, So did you guys read this stuff from the Bible to see what's Yeah. I mean, it's creepy stuff. Yeah. Did you read any of this? No. You don't want to change?
For me at this stage, there was a relative. Oh, there's someone on the side for you there.
Oh, thank you.
There you go. There's a relative reason for it. A lot of what you'll discover in the show is about discovery for Damien, and so knowing too much as an actor puts you in danger of anticipating. So there's a lot of discoveries that I'm making at the same time, because then you get that for free.
Nice. All right, so we're going to go to audience questions, so if you guys want to line up. Before the panel, what is the creepiest thing you've had to film so far without spoiling anything?
You had a really creepy thing, but he's not going to spoil
I'm
it.
not going to tell
We
you.
I think
can't.
that's a question for next.
We want the audience.
Okay, all right, I can work with that. I'll come back next year and ask that. All right, so we got right over here.
Hi, so I sit right next to the mic, so I feel obligated to ask the question for like all the people here. Since Damien is a horror show combined with a bit fantasy and magic, I want to ask if any of you have like a favorite TV horror show that you kind of just want to, like, I don't know, just watch it in your free time or something.
Better mention The Walking Dead, I suppose. Since pretty far through that.
Game of Thrones. We watch it together.
Yeah, I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan, and Hannibal as well.
Sorry, I'm just a huge Hannibal fan.
It's a great show.
Scott, do you have a favorite supernatural scary show?
There's so many good things on television right now. It's a golden age for us, for actors, writers, directors. The delivery systems may change, but you have got to have good material. I think people will come to see it.
That's okay.
Well, first of all, thanks for coming, guys. Really excited for the show. Riley, I'm a huge fan since Merlin. And I'm also from Miami, so I'm a huge Miami Heat fan. Yeah. My question is actually for you. On Merlin, you played the dashing King Arthur. So this, come on, this is like super heroic. So here's the flip side, where you're kind of playing a baddie. What's more fun, the dashing hero or the great baddie? No pressure.
Well, it depends on your interpretation of baddie, really. I think evil is based on perception.
He is the son of the devil. There's no getting around it.
Were you outside one of those placards?
I got my yellow sign.
I had 5 fantastic years doing that show. It was terrific. I really had a great time. This offers a different challenge, which is something I was specifically looking for after that. And I had to wait a bit of time for it, but it was worth waiting for. Well, thanks. It's very, you're anticipating this being wonderful, which is great. We have more people like you.
It's wonderful in this.
That's embarrassing.
Really
So this has been a different challenge, and it's been feelings of amazingness as I do it. I've enjoyed every day, going to set and working with the people around me and creating the show. I've truly got a passion for it, because it really. I wake up each day and my imagination runs wild with what's going to happen during that day. So a different challenge for different reasons, just as good and possibly better than experiences I've had before.
Hello. My question is actually, it's kind of for all of you, but I just wanted to say it's kind of funny that last year I was here for Dominion. I met Anthony Head, so it's kind of funny talking to you now. But my question is, when you got like the script, for the three of you anyways, what was the moment that you read that like was most appealing for you, like you had to do it? And then for Glenn, it's worded just a little differently, but writing process, was there a moment where you were like, I have to make this?
That is a good question. I really loved writing the script, and I love writing the material. I love these characters. I love putting them together and stuff. There was a sort of a sequence. What's that? Oh, yeah. There was a sequence that is in the first episode that when we, it was fun to write, but then the way Shaker directed it, I was like, that's the show. I just felt like that was it, and it's exciting, and I'm very lucky to be able to make TV shows, but you worry that I'm not going to be able to get it on the page or that it's not going to come together. And so when you have a great cast and crew pull it together and you just sit and you can be a fan and you just watch it and you go, wow, I'm so happy that they filmed that, and I just want other people to see it. You know what I'm saying? So there's a particular scene, I hope you recognize it when you see it, but it's a kick-ass action, horror sequence right in episode 1, and I really feel like Shaker did a great job with that.
I guess it's a question we can't be too specific on in terms of the moment, but I can try and be wonderfully vague for you, and then when you see the show, which hopefully you do, you'll be able to go, that's what he's talking about.
I can put two and two together.
There you go.
Yeah.
A lot, with every show that introduces a new premise, a lot can happen in a short space of time to introduce you to a world, and a lot happens to Damien in a short space of time. And the moment that got me the script was when there was a personal reaction, a personal outcry, where he's searching for the reasons why. I think I'll leave it there, because I think there'll be a moment where you'll probably understand when you see it. And that's the moment in the script where I went, okay, he's a human being. And now I feel for him. Now I'm really rooting for him.
Great.
I don't have a moment. I read the first 2 scripts and I said yes. It was just such exciting stuff and surprising stuff. And I just couldn't resist it.
Yeah, I read the pilot script, and when you read a script, you're looking for characters that are challenging to you, and that you think you can bring layers to, that you can, they'll make it fun for you. It's one-dimensional. It doesn't do much for you as an actor. You want to stay away from that. You want to find something, and these scripts have it. They're multi-layered characters. They're not simple. They aren't they're complex people that inhabit this material. They're complex, they're genuine, they're true, and they have issues, and they're dealing with them the best way they can. That's fun for an actor. That's fun to do that kind of stuff.
Thank you all very much.
My name is Misha, and the show looks amazing. I'm super excited to see it. I want to thank you for coming here and sharing this with us. And so my question is, what would you guys like to see here at Comic Con, and are you going to try and walk the floor?
Oh, I'm definitely walking the floor tomorrow. I think we've been doing press today, but I have to spend a few hours on the floor, so I want to see it all. What should I say? What has impressed you?
Everything?
Great. And I will see everything.
What about you guys?
I'm on a plane very early tomorrow to go back and film, because we're filming at the moment. And they've very graciously allowed me to get off the set for a day and come and see you lovely people. But I'm
Back to work tomorrow.
I would love to go and check it all out, because this has been the second time where I've had no time to see it. So one day.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
And Scott, can you walk the floor? Yeah.
Lord, my head and run.
Have you seen anyone dressed like you out there?
No, but it's interesting the different kinds that I've been to. There's been people who do dress like this. One was a young lady who actually had the same leg as Hershey. She dressed with the suspenders and everything. It was really kind of humorous. But I'll be signing. I'll be doing a thing. There's a thing called Walker Stop. So I'll be here tomorrow and Saturday.
Fun. Right?
I had a question for the Barbara Hershey.
That is a great voice.
You do such a tremendous job playing these dark maternal figures that are. I mean, you were the best part of the movie Black Swan.
Right?
All the Oscars for Barbara Hershey for that. And I wondered where you what's the sort of point of view that you take to these incredibly rich, clearly complex women?
Just before you answer this, please get a job in radio.
You do have a great voice.
Thank you very much.
You know, I think anyone's inside of us if we dare look. And I asked criminal lawyers sometimes how they defend people they know are guilty, and got really bad answers until there was one public defender who said he looks into the history of the person that he's defending that he knows is guilty and looks for the one moment when they changed. And I've applied that to playing characters as a dubious character. You find a place of empathy. You find where it began, and just start there. And you can find it in you. It's not far from us.
Thank you very much.
Hi, so I'm a big fan of Bradley in Merlin as well, and I was wondering, what is Damien like as a person? Like, is he like a dark kind of anti-hero, or is he just a good person who's kind of misunderstood and has this destiny pressed on him?
He's someone, I touched on this earlier, he's someone who has capacity for good. He, again, as we all do, he's someone who is also troubled because his baggage is significantly larger than everybody else's. And so there's that constant battle within him that is good and bad. You'll have moments where I think you'll root for him, and you'll have moments where probably not so much.
Thank you.
It's going to be our last question, so make it good. Pressure.
I have a question. I don't know if you guys noticed this, to go off of the Jesus people outside.
Yeah.
Your people are right next to him yelling, "Hell Satan!" That's awesome, first off. That's incredible marketing. And I was wondering if it's just great marketing, or are you guys going to have any kind of dark humor in this? Because I remember at the end of the first film, he smirks a little bit, and it's like the most terrifying moment in that movie, and it's also kind of that pivotal moment where it's like, hey, I like this. But that was kind of just my question.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, I think in any good TV show, there's got to be some humor. you know, and obviously this would be dark humor, you know. I will say that the tone that we're going for is like the original film. So it's you know, because it's a TV show, you can work in these moments. But we never play this for camp. There's never a wink. You know, it's always taken seriously. I mean, I really don't look at that original movie and see a lot of humor in it. You see the humanity, but if it's, you know, this is a show that can get pretty bleak pretty fast. So you need that humanity, you need that levity, you need those moments. And fortunately, we have, you know, in season 1, 10 episodes now, where you can kind of push in so that it's you know, yes, you want to create tension where the world's closing in, but if it gets too bleak, I think, you know, that's not really a show we're interested in making either. It's about the humanity.
Thanks. And just for you guys, last question from me is, do you have a favorite on-screen devil?
Any names of on-screen devils?
There's a very attractive form of Elizabeth Hurley once upon a time.
Yes. There was South Park. We had a devil. I think the Simpsons had. They've got the devil covered.
I was going to say Al Pacino. I was going to say Pacino. But I think it was
South Park, yeah.
What about John Huston? What was it, the devil?
Chinatown.
Daniel Webster? John Huston Sr.
Right.
John Huston Sr. John Huston,
The episode with the Ferrari thing actually now is the devil orders a Ferrari cake for his birthday in South Park.
Oh, yes.
And he hires 3 serial killers to get them, and they end up messing things up. It's gross and disgusting, but brilliant.
Okay, well, clearly South Park saying wins. All right, well, listen, thank you guys.